Bonjour tout le monde at Ringside Crew. My name is Ashley Dambois.
This is Tina San Antonio, your NYWC Scarlet Champion.
This is the Savage Juggernaut, Tamaku.
And you're listening to Dudes at Ringside Podcast with Joe Panther and the Metal Geek.
You're watching and listening to the Dudes at Ringside Podcast, hosted by Metal Geek and Joe the Panther Jr.
Hey there, Ringside Crew. Before I do my fun intro, I just want to say, let's all do a moment of silence for a lost soul in our wrestling community today. We lost yesterday, last night, tragically, we lost Jimmy Rave. Let's do a moment of silence. Thank you. You'll never be forgotten, Jimmy Rave. And now, welcome to a new episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I'm your host, Joe the Panther the Third, and now introducing from the top of Metal Mountain all the way down to all 50 states and the globe. It's the happy heel himself, the Metal Geek.
What's going on, Ringside Crew? What's going on, International? What's going on, everybody? How's it going, Joe? How's it going? Yeah,
Just rough. It's rough losing another wrestler in the ring, especially Ring of Honor. Like, so what is your fondest memory of Jimmy Rave, Geekin?
actually, to be honest, I had a couple. I actually had the opportunity to witness his debut match as the Crown Jewel, the Embassy, in Elizabeth, New Jersey. His match was against Trent Acid, which is awesome. To actually watch him debut as the Crown Jewel was amazing, and he will never be forgotten. And the unbelievable match he had with AJ Styles in the Styles Class match, where, you know, that match was awesome. Thank you, Jimmy, for everything you've done for the industry. Thank you so much.
So you ready to introduce the guest, Geekin?
Yeah, you can start.
All right, no problem. All right, there, Ringside Crew. Let's give a war. Dudes at Ringside, welcome to the Detroit Barbie, Marina Tucker.
Hey guys,
How's it
thank you
going?
so much for having me.
How's it going?
Hey,
It's going good.
welcome. I would, as I always would say, if our fans aren't familiar with you, introduce yourself.
All right. Well, they should be, number one. But
Definitely.
just in case, I am the Detroit Barbie, Marina Tucker, 5'2" and a half, full of Detroit sass, here to whip everyone's ass. So you better be careful.
The reason why I say that, Marina, is because our podcast has been seen pretty much all over the world.
Well, good. The world better listen up tonight.
Yeah, we've been seen as far as London, England, Scotland, Ireland.
All places that I desire to definitely be coming around very soon.
Oh man, Australia. One promotion you should put on your if you ever go to England, Coventry Pro Wrestling.
All right.
Coventry Pro has
I'll add it to the list.
They have a lot of stars. They have a lot of good stars. There are some stars that America has never even seen yet.
I'm telling you right now, one of the main things that I watch nonstop is there's so much just content at your fingertips with wrestling right now, because everybody has YouTube or Twitch or some kind of live stream right now. But I'm telling you, if I could give so much love to all the guys and girls in NXT UK right now, because it is almost strictly what I watch on a weekly basis, because they put on incredible matches and they deserve 10 times more credit and clout, and just people need to know who they are because they are incredible professional wrestlers.
Yeah, like Yeah, go next.
No, go ahead, Joe. I cut you off.
There's like so many, like, as you're right, there's so many wrestlers overseas, like in England and everything, that me and Geek weren't even familiar with until we started this podcast, and we heard about Coventry Pro Wrestling through a female wrestler. We didn't even ask her. Like, we sent a message, and he got back to us. This wrestler, she came to us and was like, something happened, and I need a podcast to go on, and I'm like, Geek, who's Clara? And he's like, I don't know. Look in her page, and I looked at her page. She's a champion. She was a champion in London, England, in a promotion called Coventry Pro, and bing bong, boom, she came on Dudes at Ringside, made our podcast internationally known. You know, like, it just happens that quick.
The beauty of wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, who trained you, Marina?
I have quite a few trainers, actually. I've kind of ran a little bit of the gamut because, unfortunately, when I got into professional wrestling about 5 years ago, I did all the things you shouldn't do. I unfortunately ran into quite an amount of people that just wanted to steal your money and not really give you quality training. And it was very, very disheartening, unfortunately, because I loved professional wrestling so much, and I got really like the real reality check into that side of it. I went to people who were names, and it turned out they just used that name to take what they wanted from people who just wanted to dip their toe in wrestling and not really commit. So they just tried to get as much money out of those kind of people. So I learned that a lot. Don't do that. And unfortunately, that was, only 5 years ago. And now there's crazy amounts of schools popping up where people can clearly get really good training. But I was trained by Afa the Wild Samoan, Ricky Santana, and Chris Silvio.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's cool.
And I've gone through many seminars, and I could credit a lot of people with, helping me along the way. I always like to think you can only learn so much from one coach, one mentor, one teacher. So many other people can teach you things that maybe you spent months training with somebody and it just clicks a different way. If someone just explains something just a little bit differently or tweaks something, sometimes the light switch just turns on for somebody just by talking to somebody else. So I always like to think, the more you can get with wrestling knowledge from more and more people, it definitely helps your career. It helps you, as a person too, just being a wealth of knowledge and learning. And this sport, you need to learn. I mean, I constantly am trying to learn, going to new shows, meeting new people, and then, like you said, going to other countries. It's how you keep learning.
Totally.
What did you say your first match was like in front of a crowd to get?
Horrible.
What was I was going to ask what your feelings were like going through the curtain for the first time.
I felt like I wasn't ready. Which I feel like a lot of people feel that way. I was not ready, but I think I was thinking more of the girl point of view. Like, I don't look ready. Like I said, I went to a couple schools and training places where they were just like, yeah, you've had like barely any training, just go out there and do it. So you didn't have gear made, you didn't have, the look down or any sort of resemblance of a gimmick, which I think is so important to go out there and have at least a mindset of and some form of psychology, but yeah, I felt, oh my God, I would like to think that I could delete all of that stuff off YouTube. No, that's there. And the nerves take over. You kind of go into fight or flight. I mean, I think that's with everything with people doing, but going on in front of, 100 people and being kind of insecure, not even just about the actual performance side or the work side of it, but just even, did I put my tights on right? Does it gonna look bad if I bend over in this outfit? I mean, everything from, I hope, the suplex looks okay, to I hope my chain wrestling doesn't get messed up. But you're also thinking about things you never would have thought of, like, oh, when I bend over, oh my God, my shorts disappear. That's horrible. Things you don't think about all come into your head when you're in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah. Like, like with us, like we go to when we go into public. I told this to Geek when we went together the first time we went to the indie show on Long Island. What you should keep in mind if you ever come to Long Island or New York side, the promotion's called Victory Pro Wrestling. It's a very good promotion, super good. Like they let you run with your gimmick. So like if you want to be total heel and they'll say I'm a heel, go for it. And like it's a good promotion. And also Cap. That's on Long Island too. That's one of the major right.
Career Pro,
Creative
right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've heard
so
really
used
good
to
things.
we're so used to calling it Cap because her from New York, so it's like everyone from New York usually calls it Cap. Oh yeah, Cap, and it's like
Yeah.
Cap. What's that? And I'm like,
Everybody else in
Creative
the
Pro.
different states are like, what's that?
Oh yeah, I've
So,
heard nothing but good things about them for sure.
yeah.
They did a show last night on Twitch.
Yeah.
Next
Brian
week.
Myers runs it, right?
Yeah. Brian Myers and who wasn't the other guy?
Pat,
too?
right? Pat
Buck, and
Yeah.
I think Matt Cardona has a part in it too. So
I thought he was the owner. That's why I always think I was trying to add
no,
his name.
no, it's Pat Buck. It's Pat Buck is a part owner. So, but
you done, Geek? I got another question.
Go ahead.
Here we go. This is Joe's fun questions. If there we go. Oh, Geek, you go next. Dang it, my question zapped my brain.
Who would be like the ultimate dream match that you would love to have a match with?
Charlotte Flair, without a doubt.
That would be actually
That'd be a
really
good match.
Yep. She, in my opinion, is just close to perfection if it could be for a female wrestler. She's put some of the guys to shame, in my opinion. She has it. I mean, that's a real thing. You know, people say, you know, what does a superstar look like? She walks out there and shows everybody what it is in every way humanly, even if Flair wasn't her dad, in every way possible. She walks out there and she has it, and she's great at it. Like you want to watch her. You don't want to, go to the bathroom. You want to watch her tell a story, and she's fantastic at it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that would be a dream.
I even told Joe that. I'm like, Joe, she's freaking amazing. And, I wouldn't be surprised if she went for she won every title there is, or the women's title every time. I wouldn't be surprised if she went for the men's title eventually in the future, because she's that good.
She is that good. I just don't know if they will ever go in that direction.
No.
I don't think
as a company. But I mean, and she is she's a real athlete, which I think is 100% important. Being a professional wrestler, you should look like you could beat someone up. I have been in the ring with a lot of girls that I feel like a gust of wind could blow them over. And I feel like being a professional, any kind of athlete, you should look it. And that's one thing she was a gymnast. She incorporates a lot of that into her body of work, which I think is awesome. It makes her unique. And she can talk, which I feel like is super rare for any kind of worker nowadays, too. So it's believable. And she's fantastic. And I think every women's wrestler should watch her. And a lot of the times when I run into fellow workers on the indie scenes, and they say certain things or, have these kind of attitudes, and I just sit there and think, would you say this to Charlotte Flair? If you say, oh, I don't feel like I should do that or this, I'm like, I can't wait to hear what these girls are going to say when they come up to someone who's, 5'10", a legit athlete and could do everything under the sun.
Yeah. There we go. I got my question. If you could go back to the 80s or 90s, which manager from that time era would you want in front of you or behind you?
Jim Cornette.
Ooh, Jim! I could see that. I can see him like doing his Jim Cornette. I got the Detroit Barbie doll right here. She will hold the scene for you. I could see him like taking over the whole thing.
That's right. Yeah, he's fantastic. I listen to almost every wrestling podcast there is, from other wrestlers, from workers to promoters, just to fans or people who work in the business or at one point did. I think getting every perspective, the whole circle, whether, people lean this way or this way, the business as a whole, I think you need to hear it from every angle to really understand it. So he's one of the people I listen to on a daily basis, driving in the car, at the gym, you name it. I have podcasts on almost more than music.
Have you got a chance to check any of our past ones?
I have, yes, with Kylan.
Okay, yeah. So
she was talking about you. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
on our podcast, yeah.
Maybe creeping a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, she's coming for that belt. I could tell. She was saying it. And I was like,
oh.
The
Well, it
CCW
sits right
belt.
here on my bookshelf, so she might have to wait.
Oh, let's see. We are the home of champions. So.
Yeah, well, it's still in the car. I haven't unpacked the car.
Okay.
yeah. The car has about 6 suitcases in it because I was in 3 different states in 1 week. So I just kind of like shoved everything, like dropped an elbow on the trunk, like ugh. Plus my dog has a bunch of stuff, so like plus the dog bed on top of all the suitcase, you're shoving it all down, So he has almost as much stuff as I do, so he's a diva himself.
It was a mommy and me day.
That's right, absolutely.
Yeah. If you want to talk about your match with Kylan King, you could talk about it. Your upcoming match.
Yeah, it's our first time ever meeting, one-on-one, I should say, one-on-one. Mm-hmm. We've been around the state of Florida for a while, both of us, and we've encountered each other, but it's always been in some kind of tag or triple threat or sudden death kind of thing. So we have never really worked one-on-one together ever, and it's been about 4 years that we've been running around the same circles. So this match is in a long time coming. It's been in the years making. So I'm definitely looking forward to it for sure.
And she's claiming she's going to be both CCW champions.
Yeah, we'll see about that, sweetheart. I've been the staple of Florida for a very long time, and it's funny how no one seems to want to acknowledge that. I've held the belts, through the entire state. I like to think I put the women's division in Florida on my back. So we'll see.
Definitely.
There's a wrestler that we had on the podcast last night. She's from Scotland, and she wants to bring her belt to America and make it a world title.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah,
it's a pretty looking belt. It looks like it looks like it looks like if the world heavyweight title from WCW had a baby and that belt.
Okay, now you're talking my language.
The belt's on our Instagram page, actually.
Yeah, we took a picture. She took a picture with the belt like that in the picture. It looks like the big gold belt.
Big gold belt's the best belt there ever has been, in my opinion. That's the best. It's the best belt.
It would be awesome if CCW could say, you know what, we'll take our belt across the pond or something like that.
You're right. You never know. Well, the belt has been to Chile, so
really,
wow,
yeah. So I'm always thinking overseas. So you never know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal for 2022 is to go to either Germany or the UK. So that is the goal right now.
Well, now you know there's a lot of promotions in England that we could suggest you. Coventry Pro, UK Wrestling. That's the other one that I know people you don't know. But we know of the wrestlers that have come on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Fight Factory.
Can't think of the rest of them. There's a CCW. Where is that in Germany? Was it Russia? In Germany?
No, Copenhagen.
It's Copenhagen.
Oh wow, I haven't even thought about that. Yeah,
we've talked to people from Copenhagen, so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
WXW in Germany is the big one. I have my eye on a little bit, for sure.
And the big one in UK is probably Progress and Rev Pro.
Yeah, Progress for sure. Also ICW. I know a lot of them. Like and I know where they're coming from. They were all kind of purged over there a little bit because they took a lot of their talent and put them on NXT UK. And so I know they try to keep it really close knit and they don't really like to bring in a lot of outsiders. So I totally understand, but I am coming to learn, try to go to all the seminars and just, they take it so serious over there. And, their ability in the ring is just, I think it's just beautiful the way they wrestle. It's just amazing. So,
and reach too.
Oh yeah, I'll have to for sure. I always just want to like make a checklist of places I want to, check
There's so
out.
many. There's so many promotions I never heard of before.
Oh yeah.
So before
There's
starting this
one
podcast.
that's from where was the state that girl that came on a few weeks ago? The promotion's called Blow.
No, it is not.
Yeah,
It really is.
Blow.
It's in
Interesting.
Massachusetts. It's in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts somewhere.
Was it an acronym for something?
It's like Boston something.
Ah, okay.
Something.
That's
I
what it
was
usually is. It's not usually
Yeah.
just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I collect stickers, and I'm already. She said she's gonna send it to us, and I'm just like, oh god, my
Yeah,
mom.
where can I properly place this so people don't look at me awkward?
Yeah, we got stickers today. God.
You're getting that full. Good for you.
I love my stickers. Stickers are that's my favorite thing.
Look at that. Yeah, I had to throw mine all away, unfortunately. That was bad on my part.
Well, if you have pins, I like pins.
That, you know what? So many people I know put those on their ring gear now too.
Yeah. I have a jacket full of just pins. I love pins, and wrestlers have been sending us t-shirts.
Hey, I work for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You love Liberty
they
Pro.
They are great people.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
owner
awesome.
of Liberty Pro is such a gentleman.
Yes,
He's
he
such a
is.
sweetheart.
Yep. He's a real Southern gentleman.
Yes.
Those, you like to think they barely exist, but he is definitely one of them. Him and his wife are like a second family to me. They are wonderful people, which, like I said, I have found horrible people in wrestling. So for me to say that, I'm telling you the truth.
To be honest, I was gonna say, you hear about promoters, you hear all the stories, and then you see this guy, it's like, this guy's the complete opposite of
110%.
And he's funny as hell.
Yep.
I'm not saying all promoters are bad, but I'm saying that you've heard stories.
I've encountered them, so yeah, those stories. A lot of stories are true. Just know that. That's awesome, the crazy thing about wrestling. When someone says, like, "Can you believe that happened?" Your immediate thought is just like, "Yeah," because it's wrestling. Like, yeah, of course. Someone says, "Hey, this happened." Yeah, I believe it. Nothing shocking.
Yeah, like we were supposed to have a podcast. Something happened. And we messaged him and said, this happened. And he was like, how long did this person tell you? I was like, no, we were 5 seconds before doing
5
something.
minutes. It was 5 minutes before.
5 minutes before we went live, this person said, I can't do it. And we're like, we're sitting on the screen going, what?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
We told him, and he said, send me the code. I got you.
I'm coming on.
Going on now. And we're like, what? He's
Such a
supposed to
nice
come on
guy.
Friday.
I'm telling you that's the business. It's crazy. So, you meet some horrible people, but then the good people you do, it makes up for it. I mean, it's a wide stretch, but essentially the good will outweigh the bad for sure. But there's a lot mixed in there.
Yeah, because of that, we got we respect that company so much. We're like, we need to do a Liberty. We thought we were going to get more Liberty Pro ladies, but not a lot of them got back to me. So it became a women's wrestling month. So next February is women's wrestling month on Dudes at Ringside.
All right.
Yes, we got Karen Bam Bam to come on the podcast. We're having Ashley Bones is coming back on Dudes at Ringside. We're having Candy Crush. I've seen her do Liberty, but I've never watched her wrestle yet. I heard she's pretty good. Never seen her wrestle, but I'm gonna try.
We have a question from the mod. Have you ever watched Dark Side of the Ring on Vice? Blows my mind. I'm hooked.
I've seen every episode. It's crazy. And I've actually met a lot of the people that have been interviewed, not a lot of the people that it's been about, but I've actually got to hear other stories as well that weren't even mentioned. And absolutely. And what's crazy is there's stuff that they could make episodes out, for a long time. I mean, there's even stuff that's happening now that I could say, oh, that could be on there. A lot of the unfortunate, a lot of the stuff is all the behind the scenes stuff. The stuff in the ring is interesting, but all the crazy stuff that happens backstage that's the real drama. So
yeah, exactly.
it's craziness. I mean, it's show business, I could believe it's doing the same thing on movie sets and music videos and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the crazy world of entertainment, and everyone would cut anybody's throat to make it just an inch higher. So it is just like that. It really is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's an episode. I was like, there's episodes that I think could actually. No, there's topics that haven't done yet. I'm like, Joe, this could be an episode on Dark Side of the Ring. And he's like,
Yep.
you're absolutely right. And then he's like, like some of these episodes, like Lucha Underground. I'm surprised that was not a Dark Side of the Ring.
You never know. There'll probably end up being another season, so you never know what they're going to hold back on.
People like it. It'll continue. You know what I mean? People are watching.
Oh yeah.
Like what
And
just happened?
unfortunately, you could say it paints the business in a certain light, but I mean, you don't hear, you really don't hear Motley Crue or, Def Leppard or, Guns N' Roses going out there. I mean, they've all wrote books, but no one's really reenacting horrible things that happened to them on the road. I mean, it's in every business, but I think wrestling has such an amazing fan base that they kind of want to, they want to feel involved in the show. They want to feel a part of it. That's why we love certain wrestlers that we love. And that's why they get the reactions that they do. And then when you hear these crazy things that have happened to them, you want to know.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like it's the way that recently I'm surprised they haven't did one. They're probably, I don't know if they're gonna, but with the stuff that just happened with Ring of Honor, like
That it potentially could. I mean, there might be way more stuff to come of that from a business angle people don't even know. So I think that unfortunately has more to do with business than actual wrestling.
yeah, I was like, oof. Like me and Geek were gonna watch the last show, but then he's like, we have to pay for this. I'm like, no, we'll
Twitter
watch,
updates.
we'll watch Cap.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, Cap.
We'll watch Cap. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? Like, there's a lot of promotions out there that that we try to ask them or hint to them that what they need to do, and sometimes I'm like, Geek, don't do that. We're gonna get blackballed. Like certain promotion, they should have Twitch. Like the promotion in Florida, CCW, they should definitely have like this. Like sometimes we have a hard time seeing a promotion if we're not in that city and if we don't have it on the TV. Like
Right.
having a Twitch, it opens the doors for us. Like
So something that they do, we do CCW Alive, which is a weekly show on YouTube, and it's all edited together. And for the most part, they try to keep. It's not all the same show because sometimes CCW will run about 2 to 3 shows a week, depending on the week. So sometimes they'll make one long show. I mean, probably about 45 minutes, and it'll include like either 3 big matches, 4 big matches from the entire weekend, or just one big show. And they'll like weave in with commentary and backstage interviews. So they do more stuff like that instead of just just a live stream style.
Yeah. Totally.
I would love to see like one day if they did like an actual big show live on Twitch or something like that. Like the was it the Bash at the Brew or something?
Yeah.
That's usually their big show, like pay-per-view or of the month. So
Bash is one of our big ones. We get about 450 to 500 fans in a brewery.
Wow.
It's pretty wild.
That's insane.
I always want to go to one of those shows. The last show I went to was a small show in the Pompano area. So,
yeah, that's the beauty. CCW is doing amazing things. We're calling ourselves, the last territory because we expand throughout the entire state of Florida and into Tennessee. And I think it's incredible. We go up the entire East Coast, and now we're going to hopefully be expanding, to the other coast in 2022. And then we've been running very consecutive shows in Nashville, and it's great. It's amazing to see how this company is growing. And I'm so proud to say that I've been a part of this women's division. It was honestly a rebuilding of the women's division because the women's division was kind of put on the back burner for a very long time. And a few girls here in Florida, me and Lindsay Snow and At one time, her name was Avery Taylor, but you guys might know her as JC Janes. We were all, part of CCW and, bringing back the women's division. And I can say I'm really, really proud to say that it has grown leaps and bounds. And, now, me and Camille have been a part of it, and Kylan is now just coming in, and Christy Janes, and, Bianca Corelli, Santina Morella's daughter, so, it's really a fun time to see women coming into this at one point non-existent division. So to see it from the very beginning, to me, it makes me really proud.
Yeah. There's like so many women's wrestlers right now that are like undiscovered, and like places like where I live in Pennsylvania, like PPW, that has like Christina Marie, which we didn't even know about her before the podcast, and Steele. It's another girl that's from Pennsylvania. It's from Scranton, PA, and she's undiscovered, and she's such a good talent. Like, I've watched some of her matches. I'm like, geez, like she wrestles all over Pennsylvania and I think upstate New York, and so does Christina Marie. You should definitely look up Christina Marie. She's really literally. I was doing this the whole podcast. I was like, it's like guns, right? Like,
her gimmick is guns. Like, she has like the muscles. So
all right. And I'll tell you, sometimes getting to go different places is tough. I mean, living in the South, I run the entire Southeast, but just trying to get to somewhere like a California, or like, I have tons of friends that I would love to come up to the New England area. And believe me, I contact quite a lot of people. It's more, especially COVID, unfortunately, really depleted a lot of funds for companies. Just, they would rather use people who are more local, where they don't have to pay for flights or, help for transportation to get other people into the area, which I totally understand, and the traveling has also made it a little bit more difficult for other companies. But, sometimes it's really hard to get your name out there. I mean, I know I am a person that's totally in that camp where I have wrestled everyone I could wrestle in the area that I'm in, and now I am trying to shoot out in other areas, but they would rather just use the people who are just conveniently around than taking opportunities from someone who's 12 plus hours away.
Yeah, that's totally understandable. Like, it's so hard because of the pandemic. Like, you want to expand your horizon with opponents and stuff like that, but it's so difficult now. Like, I could see you if you ever, as I said before we were live, I said, if you ever decide to come east and you get a chance to wrestle at Victory Pro, let us know like a week or two in advance, or like a month in advance. I'll come to Long Island, stay at Geek's place. We'll hang out. We'll have some pizza. We'll show you around the island.
Let's go.
Yeah.
What's your favorite food, Marina? My last question.
Hibachi, like Japanese.
Ooh. Geek knows a good hibachi place that we could bring you to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I've actually never been to that area. I was in New York one time, and it was for like legit like 8 hours. It was like drive in, drive out. Like, didn't get to even do barely the touristy stuff. So I've always wanted to go up there, and like Boston area as well, for sure.
Yeah, go to Salem. They're really pretty.
Yep, 110% on the bucket list.
Yes, I went there around the beginning of October, right before they started filming the sequel for Hocus Pocus, and I got a picture in front of the Hocus Pocus house.
Do you just like know me? Because that's like my favorite movie of all time.
Hocus Pocus, the filming part 2 in Salem.
I know. I don't know how to feel about it. I really don't. I mean, it's like 28 years later. How are they gonna make it? Like, I have some sort of ways about it. I don't even know. Like, it's my favorite movie, and it's like such childhood nostalgia. And then I'm like, 28 years later, I don't know if we should be doing it, you guys.
Yeah, no.
And I love Disney. Like, if you can't tell, like, Disney is one of my vices, essentially. And a lot of all the remakes that they've been doing, I'm just like, maybe you should just keep that on the shelf because it's a classic, and just leave it the hell alone for a reason. But they like money, so
money's green. It feels good in their hands, and they want to spend it.
Yeah, and then there's me, like, in the movie theater watching it. I'm just trying to like hide because it's so bad.
But for me, I saw that. I'm like, Hocus Pocus 2. Okay, maybe it's work. But then I'm the one jumping up and down, excited because Ghostbusters Afterlife was beautiful.
Yeah, like you want to have hope, but then like you've seen what they've done, like coming up to it, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah, Ghostbusters 2016. I go, oh.
It's like Russian roulette with your feelings.
Yeah,
For
like,
your childhood nostalgia. Yeah.
So
I'm the one that accidentally gets the egg instead of the bullet.
Yeah.
how was it like working for AEW Dark, which is awesome, by the way?
Oh yeah, it was a great opportunity. It was so for me, I think it was a crazy different experience than other people because I used to live in Orlando for about 3 years and I bartended at Universal Studios. So the fact like I moved from Orlando to Tampa literally the day Florida went into lockdown for the pandemic. So it was we have no idea what's happening, but we left our jobs. We moved to Tampa for different jobs, and my job was to pursue wrestling full time. And then all of a sudden, we're in a pandemic. So it was crazy to think the first time I'm ever going back to Universal was to be a wrestler and not to work as a bartender. And it was a very, very surreal moment to know that all that hard work, there I was just working, and now I'm coming back to be filmed as a wrestler. So it was incredible to like have that kind of 360 moment in the back of my head.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
Yeah, I was really proud. You know, there's a lot of people are getting like, you know, this opportunity to do it is freaking phenomenal. And, you know, to work in front of, you know, cameras and more of like the live TV studio setup that they have is phenomenal. And it's beautiful the way they have everything set up. And Bob Rosen, who is the AEW ring guy, he is a phenomenal human being. And everything is just top notch, top of the line. And it was insane to see, you know, that kind of outside perspective of because they filmed for 5 weeks. So to see kind of like the well-oiled machine of how, you know, they kept everyone going for that whole day and everyone was, you know, in a very positive attitude. And it was great. You know, it was a great opportunity. You know, I hope that they have me back sometime soon. You never know. And I was really, yeah, I was really
Spending our
happy.
dudes at Ringside Magic. We'll get
You
sent
know,
back.
honestly, to think back, you know, and you know, I can't talk for everybody because this year was a very horrible year for a lot of people, very understandably. But for my career, if you would have told me 5 years ago the things that I did this year, I would have just been like, no, you're lying. The fact that I could say in this year alone, I did WrestleMania. I walked out on the WrestleMania stage and stood in the ring. And then I was a part of, you know, countless Raw and SmackDown tapings and extra work. And then I was live on AEW Dark. And, you know, here we are wrapping up the year. And I'm very proud of the companies I've worked for. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what 2022 is going to come up with. And I'm so ready for it. I can tell you that. So I'm really happy looking back on 2021 and, you know, the things that I got to do were absolutely incredible.
Definitely. You're closing the year as a champion.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and you never know what the new year is going to bring. And I'm so happy. And I can actually say, you know, I am proud of myself. The fact that, you know, I sat there and, you know, the things that I've got to do just in this year alone, let alone my wrestling career so far is, you know, me as a 4-year-old wrestling fan, you know, I fell in love with wrestling so young. And never in a million years would think I would even get here where I am. So, you know, you really do have to sit back and think, holy cow, I'm really lucky. And I'm really, you know, but I worked hard and I'm really proud of the fact that I did get that opportunity. I did work my butt off to get there. So
yeah.
So you wrestling Ashley Demois, or it happened, or
So I had worked her in Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Yeah,
One time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a really good match. Yep. She's a new up and coming wrestler. You know, she's fresh out of the Nightmare Factory. She's making a really good name for herself. She's got, you know, very athletic built. She's a great athlete, and she's got a really good head on her shoulders. So we had a fun match, and I'm definitely gonna see us probably, you know, crossing paths again here pretty soon, sometime, maybe even next year.
You never know.
Definitely.
Yeah, and her family actually was from that area, so she had like her next door neighbors there, and like I think like some of her like her high school teachers or something. Like the whole town showed up for her. So of
Oh,
course they
jeez.
hated me, but yeah, that was cool to see. I always think that's really cool to see when people like really support other people's dreams, and you know that's nice to see.
Yeah, what was there supposed to be a rematch or I think
So there was supposed to be a rematch, but there was like a bunch of like I think it was like flights when all that flight stuff was happening, where everyone's like flights kept getting canceled and stuff. Like that one time period where like no one could get a flight. Yeah, there was supposed to be another one, but you never know. It could be on the books for next year.
Yeah. Yeah, two great title defenses right there. You versus Kylan King and you versus Ashley Dubois next year. So
Yeah.
It's funny because both of them have been on Dudes at Ringside.
Yeah, they're both really good. They're both good girls, and you know, can't say that about everybody, but I can definitely say that about them for sure.
Yeah, both super nice, you know.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I unfortunately, like I said, I did all the wrong things getting into professional wrestling. I thought because I did all-star cheerleading, and I was a cheerleader for 7 years, so you were always on a tight team with a bunch of girls, and I kind of thought when I got into wrestling, it was kind of be like kind of a sorority. I was not ever in a sorority though. But like after I graduated from college, I moved to Florida to start my training, and I was like, yeah, maybe all the girls like maybe everyone goes to like each other's houses and watches the pay-per-views, or you know maybe everyone just like hangs out, like talks about like, man, did you see that crazy Ring of Honor match? Like no, it's not like that at all. I got my hopes up and it plummeted. It's not like that even a little bit. Maybe some places, but not Florida.
Jeez.
So I got my hopes up for that one. And like I said, I have tried. I have really tried, and it's, you know, blown up in my face countless times with trying to be really close friends with a lot of people. So you just keep your circles really tight, you know. One of my favorite sayings in wrestling is Scott Hall said, well, do you want to go to dinner with me or do you want to wrestle me? And I think that's the best way to describe professional wrestling.
Yeah,
definitely.
So totally.
So do you have any upcoming shows or
Yes, absolutely. Actually, my first match of 2022 is going to be Bash at the Brew against Kylan King. So I am super excited about that one. That's a great way to bring in the new year. And then I will be a couple shows here in Florida throughout January. We have one in Ocala, Florida, which is CCW and OCW kind of combining together. So it's kind of like a battle of the brands essentially kind of show, which is cool because we'll get to work with a couple people we don't ever get to see that often. And then at the end of January, I will be up in Atlanta doing a show with it's kind of like a partner show with the Nightmare Factory. It's a lot of the students, they're kind of partnering together to create a show, kind of like not a student showcase, but they've gotten a few kind of local Florida, local Georgia wrestlers, and they're kind of putting on a show just right outside of the Nightmare Factory. So it's not in the school, but it's outside of the school.
Okay.
So there's going to be some fun people on that show too. You know, a couple people, actually a lot of people that you've seen on Dark, you know, everyone's kind of like a big school effort putting on a good show. So I'm excited about it. I haven't been up there and haven't worked a lot with those Nightmare Factory students. So it'll be fun to see what they're doing up there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast, by the way.
Oh,
thank
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for handling my crazy traveling schedule. I appreciate it.
That's what I'm saying. Like we're the most easygoing podcast. Me and Geek treat this like a professional thing, even though we're not really we're just two guys hanging out. Me and Geek met in college, so
that's
we're
great.
Best friends since college. We did college radio together, so that's why we're so used to
that's awesome.
I trained him in radio. You know, that's why whenever we do something, it's like, or try not to do it so quick, but we want to make sure nothing's too quiet, nothing, no long gaps. It's called silence on the radio. That's like death. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I can appreciate that because I went to school for sports broadcasting, so I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, you know, some people think it's easy talking, but actually it's most people, it's like the number one like fear is public speaking. So not everyone can do what you guys can do.
Yeah. So
It's hard.
please
It's
tell your
hard.
friends, tell your wrestling friends about us, please.
Absolutely.
tell the
I got a
lady
ton
about
of them. Well, maybe I know a ton of them. Maybe I can say that.
Should I
Yes.
just put more stickers in the envelope so you could bribe them?
Right. Be like, look at this.
Hey, here.
What is that? What is that like Geico commercial where he's got on the fishing pole? He's like, you almost got it.
Yeah, you almost got it. There you go.
That's right.
There's a few ladies that like we contact, but they they probably don't see it in their DMs. Like there's a promotion that you I don't know if you ever heard of the other CCW. It's the one that's the purple with the knight.
Yeah.
Coastal, not
Coastal.
coastal.
I get
No,
them
not coastal.
confused.
Capital.
Yeah.
Capital.
Yep.
Capital. Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one that I'm like, they're cool.
Well, I do know a lot of people in the business won't do podcasts unless they'll like, get compensation out of it or just
numbers.
yeah, something like that. People
Yeah.
would rather just a lot of people are getting taught that side of the business now. Like I said, like when I started the business, like, and I'm not even trying to be that person, but even 5 years ago when I started in this business, it was so dramatically different than it is now. And I can't even imagine what, the circuit, the indies were like 10 years ago, even though I really do wish I was doing it 10 years ago, just because I think the climate was better. But yeah, I mean, people are kind of getting taught the less professional way of wrestling and more like the easy way of professional wrestling, which I don't know how that's going to pay off in the long haul. But a lot of people, especially girls, women's wrestling's changed a lot, so they girls expect a lot more, just because they're women.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but it's kind of true. So sometimes, like you guys said, girls won't answer you. Yeah, that's girls. So don't take it personally. It's girls.
Like geeks always
Guys too.
The guy
the ego, ego.
We get a lot of the girls. Some of the girls we want, they don't respond to us, and then the ones that we don't know, we've never seen their matches. They're the first ones like, oh my god, I didn't see your message, and then we're available in 2 weeks. I'm ready. I give me, here's my pictures, and they send like 50 pictures. I'm like,
yeah.
What pictures do I use?
Yeah.
You had all these good ones. So I was like, geeks like, just use the title pictures.
Yeah.
There's so many good ones.
Well, I'll tell it's crazy because sometimes, like, until I go on something like a podcast, sometimes like I'll say, yeah, I've wrestled, I've beat Camille, like I've wrestled Camille, I've wrestled the NWA Women's Champion, I've wrestled with these girls who are now in NXT and WWE, and sometimes people will go, wait, you? So sometimes people really don't know, about certain people, and that's so important about getting your name out there. All I want is I want people to follow me because I entertain them. People, I'm sure you guys have seen my social media. You're not going to see me, doing what I like to say, the Florida indie girl pose, where you're just like, here's me in the gym half naked, or here's me, like that's how people get a lot of followers. And if that's their system, yeah, I'm going to put out that hard work. I want to show you why you should follow me. Either I entertain you, or you should hate me, or you should like me, or I don't want people to follow me just in hopes they see something scantily clad. So, I am a worker through and through, and that's always been me. Like I did a podcast a couple weeks ago with she impacts Taylor Wilde, and I told her if there was no TV, if wrestling was like it was in the territories where you went to, Texas, and you did Texas for a month, and then you went, to the Carolinas and worked that way, I would still be a professional wrestler because I fell in love with it, all those years ago, and I still love it. I didn't want to ever be a professional wrestler because I watched Total Divas. I've always wanted to be a professional wrestler because I fell in love with it.
Yeah, totally.
I even told, that's something I told Joe also. It's like, I mean, I love doing this podcast. Even if no one's in the chat, I still love talking to people and talking to Joe and having a conversation. So
my mom gets on my case, Marina. She goes the next day, oh, I heard you talking downstairs. How many people were watching? And it was like, I'm like, from my vantage point, I can't see.
It doesn't matter how many people are watching.
I don't care how many people are watching. It could be one person. You know what it cares? Me and Geek are now meeting wrestlers from all over the world and all over the country. Before this, I thought I would never be able to meet you.
Oh yeah, there goes two. There goes two people. But anyway, like I was saying, it doesn't matter if like one people or two people are watching now. It matters how many people are going to watch next month.
Right. And
You
you
know
know
what
what's
I mean?
crazy? That works in the ring too, because I know some of the best professional wrestlers in the world, like, you know, Roderick Strong and
Oh,
Adam
he's
Cole.
great.
They had some of their best matches. Like they've even said it themselves. Like they had some of their best matches in front of like 10 people. Like no one showed up. It was just a little small, you know, they've done crazy things at, you know, PWG and Ring of Honor, but sometimes they say, man, I had some of my best matches and no one was there.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it just happens.
Exactly.
And sometimes you have horrible matches in front of hundreds of people. So
Yeah.
it goes both ways.
Exactly.
Like, I get worried, but then I realize after the fact, someone's going to look up Marina Tucker on YouTube and be like, oh my God, Joe and Metal Geek had Marina Tucker on the podcast? And then you get and gain a fan from England. Or
That's
Scotland.
right. Let's go.
Let's go. There you go.
The sixth degree. Somebody knows somebody that knows somebody, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So if our fans want to buy any of your merchandise, where can they find it?
So I have a collection of T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, and I work for a company called Pro Wrestling Action all the time. So I always like have to like, oh wait, wrong word, Pro Wrestling Tees, and so I have a couple selection shirts on there, and then also I do 8x10s. So if anybody is interested in a signed autograph 8x10, they can just message me through Instagram, which is Marina25, or Twitter, which is bookmarina25, and I'll personalize them and send them out to anybody who'd like one.
Okay, cool. Well, we would like to thank you for coming on the podcast.
Well, yeah,
and
thank you.
Before you go, our mod always does a screenshot of us taking a picture with you. So, mod, get ready to do the screenshot. Ready, Marina?
All right.
Let's go. All right. There you go.
I'm so happy we just all did hand gestures because that was just going to be my go-to no matter what. So
that was my trade. I thought I was going to do it.
Yeah. You'll never catch that in the ring, everybody, just in case they were wondering.
I thought you were going to do your trademark. I thought you were going to do your trademark that.
Yeah, you know, gosh, a week on the road. I have curly hair and I'm super pale. This is the incognito Marina Tucker, just so everyone knows.
So now Joel could be walking by. Was that Marina Tucker? No, that wasn't her.
Yeah, nope, not her. Nope.
With the hood up with the big glasses on.
That's right.
Not me.
Yeah, I'm not even wearing pink. It's really incognito today.
Jeez. All your fans would be like, no,
I know. We don't know who that is.
Oh, wait, I just got the picture. I just got the picture from the mod.
All right.
I just disappeared. Sorry. Coming back. There I am. Mod sent me the picture. I clicked it.
Thank you so much for coming on again. So, I mean, if you want, like I said, thank you so much. And we will see you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.
Later.